Chapter 1. The End. The headlights of the stolen Range Rover almost blinded him as Richard made his way back from the well. He fought the urge to jump from the path of the car as it sped towards him. There was a sudden shower of grit and gravel as the vehicle screeched to a halt, and Julia's angelic face could be seen giggling at the expression on his. Richard had met Julia almost a year ago. Their romance had taken off immediately. They were made for each other. This whole thing with the scroll had brought them even closer together. The past few days had been unbelievable. From the phone call to the revelations about Christ, the Templars, even the church. It had been almost too much to take in. Over the past few months they had become inseparably close, partners in every sense of the word. Working and living together had proved the perfect combination for both of them. They thrived on it. The events of the last week had only brought them closer. The fear, the intrigue, the danger that they'd faced at every turn had cemented their already solid relationship. For her part, Julia had enjoyed the look that fleetingly passed over Richard's face. It was rare to see him flustered. Richard was usually cool. Not in a cold, insular way, just composed, collected. He was her anchor, especially after they had found the scroll. As for Julia, she was much more bubbly. Some had even said she was overly emotional, but Richard had told her that was one of her greatest strengths. Never think that emotions are to be avoided, he had told her, especially in our line of work. She had never really understood why he had said this. It didn't make sense. Cracking codes was about logic, patience, and lateral thinking, not emotions and feelings. But Richard was the sort of man you believed, even if you didn't know why. She was lucky to have him, and she was going to do everything she could to make sure she held on to him. Her past record with men hadn't exactly been textbook. It wasn't that she had driven men away from her, but she certainly had ordered them a taxi. Julia laughed, partly at her joke, partly at the look on Richard's face. She brushed her long jet-black hair from her eyes and pushed the button on the console to wind the window down. At that moment, Richard slumped suddenly over the front of the car. The look on his face was one of shock and confusion. He looked down and Julia's eyes followed. The sight of blood running from his side between his weakening fingers plunged her into rigid terror. They had found them.